Hey guys, this is Rob with Darkside Comics and Games out of Chesterfield, just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. This is episode 2 of Darkside After Dark, and today I am joined by Ryan,
Hey.
Brandon,
Hey.
and Thomas.
Hi.
All right, so hope you guys caught the first episode. Hope you liked it. Left us a comment. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, whatnot. But we're going to go ahead and jump into the first topic here. Our first topic of the day seems to be a hot one, which is card advantage or card draw. How important is it? Is it important at all? Why don't we go to our resident blue-white player, Ryan? What do you say?
Basically, I would consider myself a control player, and 2-for-1s, card advantage, card draw. It's pretty much vital if you're trying to play a control deck, outgrind your opponent. So anything that really can provide me quote unquote value is just essential in these types of decks.
Okay, what do you think, Brandon? You seem to always be big on having cards in your hand.
Oh yeah. Well, not even necessarily in my hand. As long as my card is netting me a card's worth in value, like anything that spawns a second creature, like Huntmaster of the Fells or Bloodbraid Elf, even cascades into another card. So it means that their counterspell doesn't really, it doesn't get your one card that you just cast. Or Lightning Skelemental, which is what I'm using recently. If it resolves and hits them, it takes a while to get the card advantage, but they discard 2 cards and you lose your 1 card. So there's just like a bunch of ways to accrue card advantage rather than just
Raging Ravine,
Yeah.
lands that you have to kill.
Yeah. Thomas, what do you think? I know you like playing stuff like Collected Company quite a bit. Do you consider that card advantage?
Absolutely. I think the whole game of Magic is creating card advantage by removal, counter spells, card draw. It's all card advantage. I think card advantage is what the whole game is about. So people saying, hey, this card's card advantage is kind of redundant because that's what you're trying to do throughout the whole game. You want to give yourself card advantage, whether that's killing their creatures or getting rid of their graveyard. If they're playing a graveyard deck, that's getting yourself card advantage or giving them card disadvantage, getting rid of their graveyard. Yeah,
I think there's a lot to be said about that. I think sometimes it gets a little overblown when people talk about card advantage, because it's great to draw cards, but if you're just drawing into more card draw, well, what's the point? So I think it comes down to, can you reuse something like a Planeswalker that can draw you cards on multiple turns is really, really good. Or creatures, they deal combat damage, you get to draw a card. Even if it's just looting, at least you're getting rid of the stuff that's not going to be helping you in the short term. Or maybe you're playing from a graveyard, so looting is really good, whether it's like a dredge deck or a hollow one or whatever we're talking about, Golgari decks. I think that one thing that gets a little bit overblown is I hear people talk down about auras because they say, but if they kill the creature, they get a 2-for-1. But nobody ever says that when it comes to pump spells. And it's like, well, an aura is just a pump spell that sticks around. So in a sense, if that's sticking around, wouldn't the aura be card advantage? Because you're getting more value out of it than you would out of, say, a giant growth or something like that.
Auras are better in certain matchups. Like you want to be playing against less interactive decks, like not against Jund.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I think it always comes down to, there's no perfect deck. There's always going to be decks that can beat other decks, and we had a perfect example about that this last week, and when we played Modern. Thomas, you weren't there, but Brandon and Ryan were both there, and like the first 2 rounds, I played against Ryan, and I played against our other friend Jeremy, who's not with us tonight. I'm sure he'll join us at some point. But I really, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I didn't really have too much trouble beating those 2 rounds. But then I go against Brandon, who lost to both of you guys, and Brandon steamrolled me. So it's just kind of weird how that can just happen, It just kind of comes down to, sometimes card advantage is important, but you're playing a goblin deck. Yeah, I guess your card advantage is board presence.
Yeah.
Just getting a lot of stuff out there, but then I guess one big board wipe, then all of a sudden that card advantage is gone.
Yeah. I think it's
Kinda
way
like
easier to
removing
interact.
cards.
I think it's way more easier to interact with board presence, and that's why card advantage in the hand is more, I guess, stressed whenever people deck build.
Yeah. I'm more in the line of I like card draw things that do other things as well, whether it's a creature that draws you a card or even something as simple as opt because you get to scry first. So at least you get to see what your potential next card is and decide whether that's what you want or not. But I think something like we've got divination down there. I think divination, even at instant speed, it's fine, I guess. Really good and limited, but I think that I think in the end it's how great is it if you're just drawing cards just for the sake of drawing cards, especially if your opponent's playing hand disruption or something. Cool, here's more things for me to discard,
Yeah, that's why I like planeswalkers in general, because usually they get to like do something when they enter, if it not be just draw a card or maybe kill a creature. So not only that, they're like, they're playing 1-for-1 right there. You're playing a card to either draw a card or kill one of theirs. But then usually they have to spend a card trying to kill your planeswalker because usually it sticks around after that.
Right.
So that's like a accrue over time, maybe. Card
Yeah, or
advantage.
even if they use creatures, use combat damage to kill your planeswalker, well, in a sense that planeswalker gained you some life as
Yeah.
well. So that's kind of the thing with planeswalkers is just they're always they outvalue almost anything else on the board. So
It's like the Nissa here. She can one of the first planeswalkers, as far as I know, the only planeswalker with an X in the casting cost. So you make that X as big as you want, and then every turn you can take something from your library and put it onto the battlefield. I mean, that's pretty obviously card advantage.
Yep. I mean, even if you get her down turn 3, then you plus her. I think her plus is Scry 1, right?
2.
Scry 2. That's awesome. Like you're setting up your next turns, and yeah, they might kill her, but at very least you did a 3 mana, Scry 2. Maybe she dies to combat damage. Maybe she dies to a removal spell, like a Hero's Downfall or something. But at that point, you paid 3 mana to Scry 2 and make them discard a card. Like that's a pretty good turn for you. So I love that Nissa. I think that the X in there, I actually think they made her pretty balanced because she's one of those things that a lot of people don't really think about, but when you see it hit the board on the other side, it kind of grabs your attention.
Especially if you combine it with another card that, like Oath of Teferi, or that lets you like activate a planeswalker a second time. Because you get a Scry 2 and then you get a 0 for like immediate, stuff off the top.
Absolutely. Recurring value is always good. Like, Rashmi, Thomas just put out there.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Great card.
she's. You don't like it?
No, I love it.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't like it. I was like,
It's a great
I was
card.
like,
Sorry.
all right, let's get him.
No.
No, she's great, and she's another one of those cards, just like the Nissa. She's not overly good, but she's good. I think that a lot of people, I think it's easy to crap on Wizards whenever they make a card not good enough or too powerful. Speaking of maybe too powerful,
Conflict of
we mentioned Oko before and how
Obviously
people argue. I'm on the side of it's not as strong as people think it is, but I can understand where people think it's too strong. I think it's poorly made, but I don't think that Wizards gets enough credit when they come out with cards that are just solid, like cards that you want to play with and you can afford to play with them because they're not going to cost you a lot of money.
What's the Selesnya one that just came out? Look at top 7, you get an aura from among them, and then to hand.
Oh, the soldier.
People love that. I don't remember her name, but people, or at least nice to Wizards about that. I don't know. It's a new one. It has an infinite combo in Commander, which is stupid, but.
Yeah, I mentioned we were talking about Collected Company earlier. I think that's one of those cards that's a little too strong. I think that either knock it down to look at the top 4 or make it a sorcery, and I think it's balanced. But I think 6 cards deep at instant speed, that's pretty damn strong. I mean, if it wasn't, people wouldn't always be trying to play with it, you know?
Yeah, like if I got to play that in my Jund Balls deck, like
Bloodberry Balls.
yeah, Bloodberry Balls.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find room for it, but then again, like 4 copies is $80. So
Right. You know, and I think that you know, speaking of price, I think that's a perfect segue into our next topic, which is fetch lands. You know, it doesn't have to just be fetch lands either. We can be talking about Horizon Canopy and things like that. It's like when does the dollar cost exceed the benefit of the land? I mean, that can go for any card, but I think lands especially because it's the lifeblood of your deck, of the game.
Yeah,
You
right.
know? You know, and it gets so extreme. You go from having a Windswept Heath at $17 to a Misty Rainforest at what, 75? You know, it's like what's the cutoff? Is there a cutoff? Like, what do you guys think, Thomas?
My cutoff is dual lands. That's why I don't play Legacy. I'm not going to buy dual lands for anything. I mean, it was bad enough buying Misty Rainforests. I wanted to play Storm with fetches, but I didn't want to buy the Scalding Tarns, so I play fetchless Storm.
yeah, that's a little bit tough.
Did you ever try Storm? Like, did you ever proxy the fetch lands or anything? Try it that way?
No, I didn't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah, you know, I'm just kind of curious mainly because it's like, what is there a significant difference when playing? But if you haven't tried it, then it's hard to speak to it. You know, it's like I also think it's kind of weird when people they fill up a dual colored deck with fetches.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I was playing my Boros deck in Modern, I was like, why do I need fetches? But then Prismatic Vista came out. I'm like, that's kind of an appropriate fetch for a dual colored deck.
I think fetch lands in particular are very suited to like a certain type of deck. Usually one that's using the mechanic delve to delve away, you know, some of the cards. And an easy way to get cards in your graveyard would be a fetch land.
Yeah.
That's why I like Pioneer. Maybe they were banned because of all the delve cards, but fetch lands are like super good in those types of decks. Whereas in other decks, they're just like, hey, I can get you a basic, where you also could just play a basic instead.
Yeah, I think it's more important if you're playing like Ren and 6 and like Clothis. You want to be able to get value out of your lands, even if it's just short term.
Right.
You want to have the double value and also be able to handle aggressive decks if you make your own life total that low.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I have a landfall deck that I don't play any traditional fetches, dual fetches. I play Prismatic Vistas and Fable Passages in it, and then I just play all basics because
Terramorphic expands.
it's just no, I don't play those at all. Not anymore. Not since I got these new ones out, you know. But it's like even though Prismatic Vista and Fable Passage, having 3 copies of each of those runs me $120-$130. That's less than that. That's like 2 Verdant Catacombs, and then who knows? Like, and then if I'm throwing in a bunch of shocks as well, like we're talking about $300-$400 just for the land base, $500 maybe, whereas opposed to me spending $150 and really getting, you know, just as good of results from it. Mainly probably because it's only 2 color. If it was 3 color, it'd probably be a little different. But I think there's a weird, unconventional thing. You know, we've talked about this with other cards before, where people feel like they just have to include things because that's what people do, and it's like, all right, if you're playing red, white, burn, how important are fetch lands? Like, yeah, they're going to be better than not having them, but is it really giving you $120 or $150 better gameplay?
Yeah, but Red, White, Burn, they're already running pretty low on lands, so the fact that they're even taking those fewer lands that they have out of their deck, they're thinning the deck, which that's a big topic as well. People are debating constantly whether thinning your deck is worth it or not. And in a deck like Burn, they do run so few lands that even that little bit of thinning does help.
Yeah, deck thinning can like come out to play in these like really small decks that really have a really small land amount. So players that want this like like small little percentages to increase their chance of drawing a non-land card would in a competitive sense would want to take every advantage they can get. So fetch lands are one way that you can take advantage of that, but
Yeah,
know.
and that's kind of what I was alluding to is like, yeah, there's a benefit, but is the benefit worth the money? Because I mean, if you're trying to get on Pro Tour, go GPs, then absolutely, like you want every advantage you can get. But if you're showing up to your LGS with playing a $5 to $10 tournament, like cool, you just dropped $200 and won an extra pack because you won one more round.
Yeah.
Like, meanwhile, you got the guy next to you. Like you went 3-1, but the guy next to you went 2-2, and he brought in his $30 deck. It's like, who really won in this situation?
I mean, I guess it's really just all how competitive you want to be in this case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like personally, I run 24 lands in my competitive commander deck. So as Thomas was saying, and Ryan, fetching matters a whole lot, and you have to be really careful with what you fetch. But the money I spent, like $90 on the what's the blue red one?
Scalding Tarn.
Yeah, the $90 that I had to like trade for and then pay some of to grab that. It didn't feel good. It was a single card, and it was just like so expensive. So yeah, I wish there was an alternative.
I think the difference too is like if you already own them and you're building a deck and you're not using those lands, like you might as well use them. But it's like if you're going out of your way to drop $200-$300 on some lands to give you just that little bit of edge over the 12-year-old across from you, like I don't know.
That's also a situation.
it's like this dude showed up with his Planeswalker deck. Like I'm gonna crush him now. Like
it feels bad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like they're ever going to not have a use, though. Unlike some cards you buy just for a specific deck, fetch lands you're going to be able to use later on, too.
That's fair.
That's true, yeah. They're going to keep their value.
That's totally fair. But at the same time, Wizards constantly talks about trying to lower the barrier to entry into the different formats, which is essentially where Pioneer came from. But I've argued for a long time that if they want to lower the cost of fetch lands, when you print a master set, make them uncommons. Get them out there. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want it to tank, but like that's what Wizards says their goal is to make them cheaper. You're not going to make them cheaper by putting them in the rare slot at a $12 pack.
If your collection is only valuable because you have lots of fetch lands, then maybe you need to rethink your life.
Right. Yeah, it kills me. And sometimes I'm brewing a deck, and I get done brewing the deck, and the deck is like $18, and then when I get done with my land base, it's like $300. It's like what?
What deck are you playing? That's $18. Give me on that.
The new Etrata deck I just made was like $15 before I put the lands in it.
Nice.
So yeah, I do. That's what I do.
Wizards Hasbro, because everybody knows lands sell packs, and Hasbro wants their money, so they're going to tell Wizards, hey, put these at rare so you can sell the packs.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're in the uncommon slot when they sell packs, I get
more packs.
Exactly. Like I get, how many people would buy like Aether Revolt because Fatal Pushes were in there?
I would buy a box if they were uncommon.
Yeah, and when you're charging $10+ a pack, I don't think it's too much to ask for to have some fetches in the uncommon slot.
Would you buy the reprinted Masters fetch land thing that they put out?
You talking about the Secret Lair?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I think if I were willing to drop $180, $200, whatever it's going to be in the end, I haven't decided yet. I think if I wanted to drop that, I'd want to try to go in on it with a few people, and then maybe try to say if the 4 of us got it, or say if Jacob was here with us and the 5 of us got it, it's like we all get one, or say if 4 of us get it, or whatever. Like I'd want a play set of one of them. not one of each.
I'm looking at the ones that are being printed. I mean, at least Misty Rainforest is being printed. I've never owned one.
Yeah, Aaron Mace is really expensive too.
Yeah, all the Zendikar fetches.
Yeah, some people were complaining about the potential of it being $200, but it's like 3 of those are $200.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. And they have new art, which some people won't like, but I always like when they do new art, even if I don't like the art as much as the previous art, because it's like if I don't like the new art, I still have the previous art.
Mm.
You know, but somebody's gonna like the new art better than the old one, and you know, good for them. Not like
Yeah,
I
that's
said,
an
Some
entire
people are going
new.
to want it just to collect it. They're going to say, "Hey, I have these, and not everybody else does." So the price is going to go up on them for sure.
you know, and then you know we're talking about like how expensive paper magic can be. You know, it's like that leads us into our next topic, which is you know online versus paper. A lot of people they don't want to drop a ton of money on paper cards, so they play online. But you know, is online really better than playing in paper, or is it worse, or is it just kind of are they just you know you got to weigh the benefits against the negatives. Um, I know that a lot of us play at least occasionally online, whether it's Arena, XMage, MTGO, whatever. I don't know. You know, for somebody like Thomas who doesn't, you don't get to come out to the store a whole lot and play, maybe once a week. Usually, when you tell me you're not going to be there, then I see you. But you know, what do you think about that paper versus online?
I definitely prefer paper, but I haven't played Arena in probably 3 months now. It's not fun. Trying to get the cards that I need is too much work, and I don't like spending money on Arena because I spend enough as is on paper. So I either have to grind Arena for hours every single day just to build one deck that I want, or I can just spend real money on paper cards and pretend I'm playing until I can actually get out and play.
No.
Yeah, it's like the Hearthstone problem where if you just like leave it alone, they you know you have to like buy the cards again for the new set that came out, and always keep up to date with the latest set so that you can like keep on playing competitively.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think, Brandon?
I like MTGO. The fact that you can play relevant formats.
Draft.
And draft is way better. Like I want to be able to play against people that make decent choices, not bots. And uh, then what's really important to me is like Arena. I still can't build my current standard deck because I need more mythic wild cards. And I'm like, how do I get those without spending money? And I don't know. I prefer MTGO just because it's way more straightforward. This is how you get your cards, and then you play.
You know, I signed up for MTGO a while back, and I couldn't really understand. I didn't really understand it too much. Like I thought it was kind of weird that like you have to go to different people to buy cards
Yeah,
as
vendors.
opposed to just buying them from Wizards. I also think the whole we talk about buying cards, but really what you're doing is leasing them because you're never actually going to own these.
Yep.
You know, anything digital you're never going to own. Once they shut down the server, they're gone forever.
Well,
So
they did
that,
implement a system where you can get cards from the site.
sure, you know,
if you have all of them in an entire set, but
you know, and when it comes to Arena, I guess what I liked about Arena, I treated it like a video game. You know, it's like if I'm playing a role-playing video game, sure, I could type in a code and be level 99 immediately, but you know, or you could grind. And I always kind of thought about getting wild cards and packs as kind of like leveling up. Um, and I kind of like that, but I don't really play Arena anymore too much because I feel like the Arena community is kind of crappy. Um, I mean, I guess if your thing is playing against Witch's Oven, you know, Agent of Treachery, Teferi, and Fires of Invention, and then the moment you blow one of their things up, they scoop. I guess if that's fun for you, then Arena is really the place you should be playing. But mostly when I play on Arena, it's like I want to try new things. I want to try new decks before I buy the cards in real life. And if my opponent is constantly scooping, the moment I get any kind of advantage on them, I'm not really getting to play test this deck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like at that point, I'd rather just proxy it in paper and play against one of you guys at the store. sit across from you, and then I can actually get feedback from you as well. I can't get feedback from somebody online.
You can't read your opponents. Yeah, you can't read your opponents online, so it's like really inhibitive of most of what the game is.
You can read them through their chat emojis.
Yeah, they're like, your go. Like, they're annoyed and they probably have a bad hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if somebody counters my spell the 5th time in a row, all I can do is scoop to show anger. I can't just like punch him in the face like I do Ryan.
He beats me.
You're over 18. It's legal. That's what people think, apparently.
Consensual.
Consensual assault.
Yeah.
As opposed to aggravated assault.
I think in the end, there's room for online and room for paper, but I don't think that. I think that if online wasn't there, paper would still thrive, but I don't think it would the other way around. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that.
Thomas hasn't said anything in a bit. It looks like he's reading.
Yes, I'm reading the closed captions of your conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I would like that.
I kind of want to listen to it, too.
I mean, right now is obviously going to be the big test since people aren't going to be going out and playing Paper Magic for a while. We're going to see what happens to online versus paper after, 6 weeks, 8 weeks after this is all over. Hopefully people go back to paper and not just stick with online.
Yeah, well, I don't think people are going to stick with online because I don't think people can sit in the same place for more than a couple of days. People, they want to get out. They want to. There's something to be said about sitting across from your opponent, getting their input on your deck. I have a lot of people who love to tell me how to build my decks instead of offering suggestions. It's like, hey, have you thought of this card? No, they just want to go, you should play this. Like, you should make your own deck. It's like, I dealt with that yesterday. I was playing. It was just constantly telling me I should put more and more and more and more lands in my deck after one time the person played with it and missed their 4th land drop.
Or I remember the argument, the hours of debate and debacle to finally get Rob to play Path to Exile in his freaking modern decks.
Hey, it's mono white. What I got to do something. But if it's not mono white, there's no reason really for me to play Path. No, that's not true. I do play. I play a couple copies in the Giants deck. I do play a couple copies, but that's like I have to play a lot of removal because I got to get to turn 4 and turn 5. I can't do anything outside of that. So
easy money.
But yeah, it's it's funny. The person who's telling me I should put more lands in my deck when he's playing with it, when he got flooded out and had 12 lands on the field, he never once said I should take lands out of it. It's just kind of funny how it's double standard. But yeah, I think I guess we got a few minutes left. We can go ahead and dive into the whole FNM on Arena thing. So that's starting this Friday, and it's going to be for the next 3 Fridays. And basically what it is you do a free event. It's an FNM thing on Arena. You screen capture, proving that you attended it. You show it to your LGS. So if you showed it to me, I can give you a code for some sleeves. When it comes down to it.
What?
I've got like 80 codes that they sent me. I can give codes to whoever I want. The disclaimer of please don't sell these codes. I always love that. It's like, okay. So it's like they're trying. I almost feel like the cynical part of me wants to say that Wizards is trying to see if they can get FNM online and cut LGSs out of it. But they want to make it look like they're supporting LGSs by giving us these codes that don't even do anything but give you sleeves. And there's like no benefit. All it is work for me. It's like, here's your code. I don't make any money on this. But whereas they could send us like promo packs, and then when the stores reopen, you could show up to the store, get a promo pack maybe, and then you're in the store.
Yeah.
But shooting me a screenshot through my email, that doesn't do anything for the store. I try not to harp on Wizards too much like a lot of people do, but I just don't see where this is supporting us. But I will give them a lot of credit because they did the last couple products they released were to us only, and not to Walmart and Target and online vendors and stuff, which was unsanctioned and the mystery boosters. Mystery boosters were a hit. Hopefully they keep doing stuff like that. Hopefully we can get more mystery boosters before the end of the year. But so I want to give credit where credit's due on that front. What did you guys think of the mystery boosters? I don't know if Thomas, did you get any of them?
No, I haven't yet.
I know you asked me if I had some. That was funny.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth on whether I want to buy them or not. And luckily, every time I do decide I want to buy some, you don't have any, so I don't end up buying them.
Well, what'd you think of them, Ryan?
I didn't play when they were
Oh,
released,
it sucks.
so I haven't even seen one open yet.
I'm telling you, man, college is getting in the way of your life.
Yeah, man.
But Brandon, did you get any
Just went
mysteries?
I opted out of it because it was just like either cards I had or just like, and I looked over and it was just these are just commander cards, and I don't need those. I mean, the only thing I really crave is the Mana Crypt, and it's gonna go down enough to where I could just buy one. You know, I don't want to buy a
That might
box
be a
and like hope
surprise.
for one. Yeah.
You
I don't
might
know,
be
they-
surprised. The mystery boosters, I think, from what I can tell from everybody that opened them and bought them, they were pretty much a hit. When they first came out, I was selling them for $5 a pack, and you had about a 46% chance of making your money back just in the rare slot alone, and then it upped it to about 70% chance to get money back when you included the uncommon slot. And I was selling boxes for 120, and then no 109. I was selling boxes for. Last box I sold for 150 though, because it's the last one I had and everybody wanted it, so might as well make some money, right? But I felt like I even feel like if the packs were $6.99 a piece, like Modern Horizons, they would still be worth it. They were, and the fact that they used like the old school border, like they looked like the old printings, it was kind of neat. Made for interesting draft when we did that last Tuesday. Hey guys, Rob and Brandon here. I guess you noticed we got cut off on our video, so sorry about that. Not sure what happened. But we're just going to wrap up. The video went a little longer than we expected. We try to keep these around 30 minutes. It's kind of a good, maybe you listen to us on your drive to work or drive home from work or on a run or whatever, but hopefully you're just listening to us. But yeah, so all in all, card advantage important as a rep, as a scoop. What was how fetch lands? Maybe
Talking about pricing of mystery booster boxes, packs, and all that. How you were selling them for
mystery boosters, not for everyone, but seem to be a pretty big hit.
Yeah, I said I didn't really enjoy it that much as like a product I want to spend $100 or so on to get the value I wanted, but I'm just cool with buying singles.
Yeah, every product seems to be an audience for somebody. Oh, and I guess you guys noticed there's only two of us here. Thomas and Ryan, I guess, had to go. I know Thomas had to go. He's got kids and crap. Ryan, I don't know what his deal is, but he might pop in here while we're wrapping up.
He probably went to bed. He's young.
Yeah, this has been episode 2 of Dark Side After Dark. Leave us a comment. Try to be cordial. Try not to be rude.
Cordial to each other. We can take criticism, but just be nice to each other.
Yeah, you guys can be mean to Thomas all you want. So he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just don't be mean to me. I'm delicate. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hey, and if you live close to us, if you live in the St. Louis area, come check us out down in Chesterfield, Darkside Comics and Games. We're in the Clarkson Wilson Center, just south of Highway 40, off of Clarkson Road. But yeah, hopefully join us next time for episode 3, and we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.